Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. I am... Okay, so this is a little weird, right? I'm in a truck. And it's nighttime. And I'm sitting in front of a coffee shop, uploading videos and recording videos because I live in an environment where a particular local phone company, CC Communications, has a complete service monopoly on my access to the internet. I am actually an amateur radio licensee. I know how to set up antennas. I have an antenna tower. I've tried to work with a wireless company in town, and they refuse to allow me to try an account, even with no guarantee of service, even though I have verified line of sight with their tower and can set up a antenna. There's no cable. There's no nothing. The local telco, CC Communications, is really bad. I have actually gone out to the street and run over boxes. I have been communicating with them for 10 years about getting repairs. I basically I have an average error rate between 2 and 11%. If it gets worse than 11%, usually there's actually a problem, like it's irrigation season or the weather got really cold or there was a rainstorm. If it goes below 2%, that never actually seems to happen for more than 5 minutes at a time. That's my error rate. That's dropped packets. That's ping tests. And I'm not doing ping floods. We're doing 1 second intervals, 500 pings to 8.8.8.8, and I'll get 11% packet loss, okay? Between 2 and 11 on average. You know, sometimes I'll hit 30, and I'm not using average in the statistical sense here on purpose. They promised me fiber, but there's no fiber going out where I'm in a fairly rural area. I am honestly pretty far out there as far as IDSL ranges go, but the lines are dirty, and there's nothing they're going to do about it. So anyway, long story to just say that I am sitting in front of my local coffee shop, which is closed, using their internet so that I can upload a video. And so I'm going to go ahead and use this moment to record a video. It's a little bit dark. The lighting is all very funny, small town Main Street. This is hilarious. Let's talk about the FBI. I am an imperialist. I am one of the odd members of American society. Americans in general should primarily ignore their government. I'm not saying you should be unaware or uneducated, but government should not be something you worry about. It should not be in your face. It should not be something that you are made aware of or have to deal with on a regular basis. There have always been imperialists, activists, patriots, patriotic veterans, jingos. There have always been jingos. There have always been people like myself. I find it interesting, and I find activism to be interesting, to be beneficial to me, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. But for the most part, most people, that's not the case. The whole thing about the 3%ers, the 3% idea is it's really a 5% idea. One person in 20 will have an activism in any particular area, okay? 1 person in 20 is going to be a natural leader in a group. 1 person in 20, and it could be 1 person in 100. It kind of depends on which psychologist you're looking at. If you're talking about Pareto, it's going to be 2 people in 10. But it's more like 1 person in 20 if you talk to a lot of other psychologists. 1 person in 20 will have an interest, care, be effective. Everyone should not be involved in politics by necessity. Everyone should have the option of being involved in politics. And there are times and situations where you should be involved in politics. There are specific moments in history where more people should be involved, where something in your life matters. There are reasons to be involved in politics at times. But for most of our history, and through most of human history, most people don't care. They would rather not be involved with the government, not have the government involved with their life. This is the way it should be. It's natural, it's effective, it's fine. I am an imperialist. That means I am kind of hyper-patriotic, and I have an honest belief that there is a moral reason to spread our notions of republic and individual freedom by force, just to spread it by force if necessary. And there are imperialists out there. There are several of them. If you look at Victorian England, you had a segment of the population that was like this, that did care. And there are bad people who are imperialists, people who are imperialists because they want to abuse others or use others or have power over others. But there are also people who are imperialists. There are a lot of veterans who are imperialists because they don't want to see kids starve. The reason I'm an imperialist is because I've been to Africa. That's plenty enough to turn anyone with a moral viewpoint on human rights into an imperialist. That may not be your answer, but it is an answer, and it's a relevant and adequate answer. So I'm an imperialist. I am a patriot. I'm not really a jingo, but I won't argue with the label too much because I know what it means, and I'm okay with that. And it's okay if you're not. Most people aren't. Most people should not be. As I said before, when you have a society that has a degree of individual liberty that is such that foreign actors or bad actors can severely abuse the system. We're dealing with this right now. It's something that the establishment state, the media, the FBI, does not want to acknowledge or treat. We are dealing with a situation right now where Chinese intelligence and government officials, with their own goals, anti-American goals, have influence, have purchased influence, have been in influence, have desired more influence and positions inside the White House of the United States. This is the main thrust of what's going on with the Biden issues. Okay, everyone wants to talk about the Ukraine, but the Ukraine is small potatoes. We have two different email threads, two different email chains talking about different Chinese groups, different groups of actors in China trying to buy influence in the White House and succeeding. That's really bad shit right there, okay? This kind of thing happens. It's when you have a high degree of individual personal liberty, most people are not going to act like intelligence operatives, military veterans, whatever. Active imperialists. Most people are not going to involve themselves in their local political committees. And that's fine too. You should have an education in how politics works, but you should not have to worry about it. Your brother-in-law, Phil, is active in the local political party, and that's good enough. You should be able to talk to him, ask him questions, get honest answers. You have your network of people, that's fine. And your cousin Tom over there, he's a veteran, and he's got a very specific worldview about interventionism, and maybe you should listen to him because maybe he knows something about it. But he also cares, all right? We have a lot of people who care enough to denigrate but don't care enough to act right now. That's a very dangerous thing politically. So, once again, the Biden thing, is it's the risk of having an high individual freedom society. Foreign actors, bad actors, are going to abuse the system. Okay, you're going to have Australian phone centers calling in the U.S. thousands of times an hour to try to stump for Joe Biden for president. The foreign interference in our elections. It happens. Now, because of the way personal liberty works, you almost have to have some way of dealing with this outside of the rules. Not against the rules, just outside of the rules, okay? Because a lot of this stuff operates while outside of the rules. We have a permissive environment that allows people to operate outside of the rules. That's a good thing. That's absolutely necessary for humans to be human. But you have to protect against it. You need Hap Edwards, okay? You need Hal Evans. You need bad people who can do bad things, but who are under control. You need to be able to play spy games with China. And there's an element where you want to say that the FBI should have some extraordinary action capability, some discretion that goes beyond the basic, what people call rule of law, to deal with threats like Chinese operatives on U.S. soil. And I would agree that as long as we limit that, as long as we keep it within the basic American mythology, as long as we keep it at Tom Clancy levels, it's okay. You can't get rid of it. This is the way humans work. But the problem is, that's not what's happening right now. And this is where I have to talk about the FBI in a very uncomfortable fashion. The FBI wants to defend baseless accusations by a journalist like Steve Scully, a partisan journalist, as a means of political propaganda. They refuse to investigate Chinese interference with the Bidens. Like, we're talking 50 years of foreign policy in the Senate and 8 years as vice president. I mean, this is not a small thing. You need to investigate that. We have documented text messages, emails from the FBI trying to make sure that Donald Trump could not win the election. I don't care if you like Donald Trump. I don't care if you hate Donald Trump. If you think that Donald Trump is an existential threat to the United States, you can show me. You can show me his policies. People say, oh, but he sends tweets, and the tweets are bad. Okay, yeah, show me his policy. Show me his actions. You can argue that you don't like his tax policy because it didn't punish the people you wanted punished. But it did good for most Americans and for most of the economy. That's the part you have to look at. What are the policies? What are the actions? Can you show me where he's actually bad? Mistaken? Sure. He's a president and he's human. All presidents fuck up. But show me the policies. It's not the place of the FBI to play that level of politics, to say, we don't want this man to be president. We don't want to allow this man to be president. That's not good. And it's not getting better. Okay? They're going to sit on Democrat investigations while they actively engage in punitive expeditions against Republicans, anti-establishment Republicans, most notably. That's not good. This is the kind of danger bad. Okay, that's what I call it, danger bad, because you don't want to advocate for the types of things that usually solve these problems. When you have secret police try to take over your political system, violent things happen. The FBI is not in a just and reasonable place right now. And, a lot of people would argue that they haven't been since, like, the 50s. I mean, we've had some pretty, I'm the head of the FBI, I have a file on everybody, that kind of thing. That's not good, right? But right now, we're looking at the genesis of a secret internal intelligence secret police agency that can control elections, that can influence elections, that can control who runs the government. That's really dangerous. I don't think you want to allow that. I think that is probably the most important thing to prevent, and probably the strongest argument in favor of re-electing Donald Trump, regardless of what he does as president, just to prevent the FBI turning into the KGB. Think it through. Stay sideways. Have a good one.